Welcome to the Strong Life Coach podcast, where we speak life, coach life, write life, and lead life. Today, I'm joined in the podcast studio by Contreras. Christian, welcome to the show.
Derek, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Well, I'm excited about our conversation. I think your passion is contagious. Everything you're putting on Instagram is where I ran across your profile and I figured this is one of those people I surely want to have on the show to showcase your passion and your focus. I want people to know a little bit about you. So let me give them a little breakdown. Christian Contreras is a civil rights attorney working out of Los Angeles. His focus is on supporting marginalized communities, especially the Black and Brown communities. So Christian, what inspired you to become an attorney?
Well, the primary inspiration was essentially the common struggle that we have in primarily impoverished communities. You know, as someone who was formerly homeless when I was 11 or 12, I lived in Skid Row with my mother because she was in a tragic car accident. She was on the freeway, her car stalled. She was hit from behind by two vehicles, which caused disc protrusions and disc spinal cord injuries on her spine, which paralyzed her permanently from the waist down. So as a single child of a single mother, the only child, she was a person who would actually contribute to the household and pay for rent and, you know, everyday things that require money, unfortunately. So we had no other option. The only option was to go to a homeless shelter, the Union Rescue Mission, where I have many memories. And there is pretty much what built my character and also opened my eyes to what's going on in our communities, what's going on right in our backyards. And that's this common struggle, this suffering that many people go through. It's primarily Black and Brown people, but it's also a social economic issue, which poor people pretty much suffer and go through so many things. So when I saw this as pretty much a tween, I was 11, 12, 13, growing into adolescence. It was a difficult time, of course, but it inspired me to really do something where I could make a difference, and not only make a difference, but empower people, inspire people, and actually give back to my community, because there's just so much need. And law and becoming a lawyer is something that allowed me and empowered me as well to really give back to communities that need it, because there aren't many advocates. You know, poor people can't really afford lawyers. So lawyers like myself, who at times give legal help and help people pro bono, is something that really allows people to have advocacy, representation. And that's my primary inspiration to get into law and really help others. And also, I'm just very curious as to the legal field and really how the law works in this country. And it's something that is intertwined in everything. Everything that is done in this world involves law and involves some sort of operation of law. And for that reason, and that understanding of how law works is what led me to pursue a career in law.
Got it. Okay. I think that I'm inspired by the journey. Even as you just shared, I think your story speaks about perseverance, endurance, resilience, and going through what you described with your mom. Her going through that paralyzed situation because of the accident, and then being homeless. Now, when I hear a story like yours, one, I'm inspired, and I'm encouraged. I'm like, when people ask you, or when you hear about challenges people face, how does that like shift your advice or your direction to people? Because your story very much is, hey, I've been through challenging times, but I didn't let those challenges overtake me. I overcame those challenges to continue to grow, improve, and succeed. Again, you're in a prestigious role as an attorney now. Like, what's your advice to people to get through some of those hard times?
Well, my advice, it's two-pronged. So it's obviously the advice to the person that's going through that issue, and then those outside looking in who see that person being challenged. So the first prong is the person in that situation. What really helped me is I knew there was an end. I knew my situation was not fixed. And when you're able to know that you could grow from something, that it's not permanent, that's something that is encouraging, because you wake up every day and you know that everything you do throughout that day is adding to you growing and is allowing you to persevere. So the only way to do that is work. I think
Hmm.
work is the bedrock of success, the bedrock of growth. So you really have to work towards it. It's not going to be handed to you. So everyone does things in increments. Some people take huge steps, some people take small steps. The important part is recognizing how big of a step you could take, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but also you don't want to be complacent. So understanding yourself, understanding your capabilities is important, because then you'll be able to have a plan. And once you have a plan in terms of how much work you need to put into something, then it's much easier to really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Then
Hmm.
the second prong is really those who are looking out into that person and thinking, why is that person challenged? I went through this and I was able to overcome it. Like, for example, myself, I could say, okay, why is that person homeless? I was only homeless 2 years, and now look at me, I'm a lawyer. No, everyone is different. And I
Hmm.
think really fundamental to compassion is understanding that every human is different. We're not robots.
Hmm.
We all have individual differences. So knowing that even though you went through something and you overcame it, doesn't necessarily mean that that person is going to overcome it as easily. And
Sure.
understanding your privilege as well. I think one of my privileges is that I'm hardworking,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of smart a little bit. So
Hmm.
because of that, I'm able to do things well and I'm able to achieve goals easily. Unfortunately, not everyone is like me. Some people aren't as motivated. Some people even had trauma in their lives. For me, I think the only trauma has been that my mom was in a car accident and the homelessness, but some people face abuse. Some people face
Hmm.
sexual abuse, and that could be scarring. So people with those impediments and with that type of trauma may not as easily overcome impediments. So when you're looking out in and you're looking at someone who is overcoming a challenge or facing a challenge, you need to understand that some people may not overcome it as easily as yourself or as others. And that is a bedrock to
Hmm.
compassion.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you brought up compassion as well, because sometimes when you can achieve so much with the challenges you faced, it can lead to almost this arrogance where I'm above you. Why aren't you like me? Why aren't you doing what I'm doing? Why aren't you achieving and accomplishing as I've done? But I love the compassion and understanding every single person is different. They've been through different challenges, different trauma, even. I love the notion. So I think when I'm hearing your story, though, I'm figuring like there's going to be a book coming out soon. I mean, I think there has to be a book in your future with what you've been through and what you're seeing happen in your own life. Is that something you've thought about with in your journey?
I think it depends. If a book were to be written about me, it would only be in the first chapter, because I just
Hmm.
have so many aspirations and so many goals to fulfill that I don't think I've even gotten started on most of the goals that I really want to obtain.
Hmm.
I think really at this stage of my life, everything that I've done has been to advance myself. But
Yes.
my life goal and my life journey is to advance others. So once I actually start seeing the results in my community, start seeing the results in others, that's when I know that I'm really making true advancements. Because, like I said, I've just advanced myself and my family as of yet. So I think we're just beginning in my story. So a book
Uh,
may be written, but we're still just getting started.